Hello traders, welcome back to YONAYIELD. Hope you're doing well. Major news just dropped this week around My Forex Fund, the court case that is going on there, and we want to cover this right now in this video. Guys, just a couple of days ago, My Forex Fund was still frozen deeper than the town of Arendelle in Frozen 1, or harder than Elsa in Frozen 2. If you haven't watched those movies, go watch them right now, especially Lost into the Woods, best song.
Nice.
Okay guys, I'm so sorry, getting a little bit sidetracked here. Okay, we were basically all sitting here thinking, alright, My Forex Funds, aka My Frozen Funds, is probably finished faster than the career of Neymar Jr. However, in an unexpected twist of events, it looks like My Forex Funds got unfrozen faster than a Big Mac patty at McDonald's.
BK stackers, bun, burger, cheese, 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 burger, cheese.
Crazy stuff, guys. We want to look into that right now in this video, and I catch you after the intro. Alright guys, and here we are at this document that we want to look at, or I should not say document, it's rather just an article. We need to hope that we can trust this source, of course. I could not verify it, but basically this is released by finance magnates, and I saw a couple other sources also confirming this, so I think it's legit. Let's go through the document and see what we can make out of it. Just a little disclaimer beforehand, I'm not a legal expert. I'm probably the wrong person to talk about this topic deeply. However, I'm very interested in the issue, so I want to go into it, and then I will also talk about my personal thoughts and insights about it. But as I mentioned, keep in mind, I'm no expert on this matter at all, so I'm just trying to make my own interpretation of the information provided. Alright guys, and here it is. Breaking news: US court orders release of majority of My Forex Funds founders' assets. So Murtaza Kazmi will receive approximately 100 million, but 12 million remains frozen. So that is a major step here. I'm thinking this is a major breakthrough for My Forex Funds actually. However, there are some caveats still. We will go through them. I have read the article, of course, already, but this is pretty big. 100 million is unfrozen basically, and only 12 million remains frozen. We will see why that is, but let's keep going here. The court upheld the first impression evidence submitted by the CFTC against My Forex Funds. So we will see what that also means, because basically I'm assuming this means that My Forex Fund is not in the status anymore of innocence until proven guilty. I think it is past that stage, but let's look into that. I'm no legal expert, as I said. Okay, now let's go through it paragraph by paragraph, and I will also, give you my personal thoughts on it. So basically, the New Jersey court tonight, Tuesday, so this happened this week, partially granted My Forex Funds' request in the lawsuit filed by the CFTC against the company. The court ordered the release and return of most of the assets belonging to the founder CEO, Murtaza Kazmi, valued at approximately 100 million. However, 12.8 million of these assets will remain frozen. Okay, so we have just seen that in the headline actually. Let's keep going. Okay, let's have a look at the next paragraph. Despite the partial decision in favor of the defendants, the New Jersey court upheld the prima facie, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly at all, first impression evidence submitted by the CFTC to support charges against My Forex Funds and its CEO. So basically that means we know My Forex Fund did some shady stuff, like they supposedly have an algorithm that causes slippage or spreads or something like that, so putting traders at disadvantages. And it looks like the evidence by the CFTC is on the first impression valid. So I'm not that shocked about that, because we have seen a lot of comments by traders confirming this. So I'm also thinking My Forex Fund was involved in some shady practices, and on the first impression it seems to hold true. So they will examine this in more detail, of course. So let's go on. My Forex Funds and its CEO. In an earlier motion, the lawyers of the defendants challenged the CFTC's jurisdiction over the prop trading business and the submitted evidence. It is to be noted that prima facie are based on the first observation, are accepted as correct unless proved otherwise. So I think this sentence, unless proved otherwise, means that My Forex Funds is kind of transitioning into this stage of first you are innocent until proven guilty, and I think here it's now the other way around. Basically they did something shady, basically they are guilty, and it says on the first impression they are guilty, and this is accepted as correct unless proven otherwise. Okay, so this is I think what is changing here. So that doesn't look too good on my Forex funds, but I'm not surprised because we know there was something shady going on with them. Now interesting will be why then they unfroze 100 million if they are kind of guilty, and we will get to that in this article. Okay, let's jump into the next paragraph. However, the judge Sahid Qureshi, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly at all, stated that the CFTC has made a prima facie showing that defendants made misrepresentations, misleading statements, and deceptive omissions. Alright, so also very interesting here, it doesn't say anything yet about this kind of algorithm that My Forex Funds was supposed to have, manipulating prices and stuff like this. Manipulating executions, I should rather say. However, it does say that there was some misrepresentations and misleading statements, right, that were basically deceptive. We know that My Forex Fund basically had this slogan about your success is our success, and we know also if you're in the funded stage that is not true. Basically, the company has an interest that you lose your funded account, which anyway is not funded. And the other thing that is a misrepresentation is the word funded. It's not a funded account at all. It is a virtual account demo trading, right? And I'm not sure about My Forex Funds, to be honest. I don't know how they were labeling their accounts, if they said they were funded or not. I totally forgot about that. But if they said they were funded, then of course that is a misrepresentation. Here also misleading statements about your success is our success. That is also true. Unfortunately, there are no words here as mentioned about this algorithm, about this kind of software they're supposed to have, putting their own traders at disadvantage, because I'm very curious if that will come true, right? Now let's keep going. Putting a cap on frozen assets. Here it's gonna get very, very interesting, guys. So the new amount of frozen asset was determined as the judge put a limit to My Forex Funds profits associated with the 8% of customers who had live accounts. We all know live accounts means still demo. The prop trading platform generated about 310 million in fees from all customers and paid out around 159 million. According to the provided evidence, 8% of the remaining amount is associated with the live accounts. So very interesting right here, guys. Basically, we know My Forex Funds was highly profitable, racking in 300 million in 2 or 3 years, basically. And then we also know about half of that they paid out in payouts to their traders. And basically they were working on some kind of strategies, I guess, internally, how to reduce this figure, because it's a 50% margin, which is very good. However, they wanted to reduce it apparently because they had this software for worse executions, and we know these internal emails that leaked about slip him to hell and stuff like that, which didn't look good at all, right? Now, interestingly enough, the court saw that 8% of the remaining amount is associated with live accounts, and they will most likely now focus on the live accounts, because that makes sense. I think it's fair, because I think most of the manipulation happened around the live accounts, right? So it looks like that they're focusing on this right now because they're seeing that the shady stuff was going on there. This is my personal interpretation, maybe I'm completely wrong, but that's what I'm assuming out of that. And the other stuff about the challenges, etc., where they racked in a lot of money, basically that becomes unfrozen, or is unfrozen now, which makes sense because I think those were legitimate sales. The customers, they needed to, you know, sign some kind of terms and conditions. I'm pretty sure something was in place with My Forex Funds, must have been. First of all that, and then also I can say that My Forex Funds was very transparent actually about the passing rates of the challenge and the second stage, right? So these 2 stages that you have to pass, we all knew what the numbers were. They were pretty low, and yeah, it's 8%, like it's right here, the figure. We know that only like 8% of people trying finally made it into the so-called live stage or funded stage, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, 92% basically failed. And I think there was not really a problem with that, because all of these figures were laid out open and transparently by My Forex Funds. As you guys know, they had in their articles always these kind of statistics showing exactly that. So if I would be a lawyer right here defending My Forex Funds, I would, you know, also show that to the court, that basically we showed you all of the statistics always transparently, so everybody who was getting involved knew that the chance of passing is only 8% in the end, and 92% chance you will lose your money, right? So I think that was all laid out pretty clearly, and I think this is also the reason why the court then decided to only focus on this 8% and not on the 92%, right? Which was generated in selling challenges, right? So this is my personal interpretation. As I said, maybe I'm wrong, but let's take a look here in the article. Additionally, the court decided to discharge the current temporary receiver and ruled against appointing a new one. Okay, this means that now the frozen assets, right, they are unfrozen, and basically they can be tapped into again by the owner of My Forex Funds. I think that's what this I believe that's what this means, and they ruled against, you know, appointing someone who has access to the funds, like somebody else, another party or something, right? I think that's what that means. So they are trusting the CEO, and this happened because I think they kind of showed a lot of transparency during the court case, as we can see in the next kind of paragraphs. Okay, since the entry of the SRO, defendants have appeared in the case, retained experienced counsel, complied with the court's orders to provide the CFTC with an accounting of defendants' assets, produced defendant Kazmi for deposition, and expressed an interest in resolving the case and remitting any potential disclosure issues. So basically, yeah, that's what I said. They were handling this pretty professionally in the court case. So the My Forex Funds side, they were trying to be transparent and trying to work with the court together to resolve the issues, and they were addressing the CFTC concerns. So this is a very good sign, right? And that's why also the court was lenient with the CEO. Whatever concerns the CFTC initially may have, this is also an important phrase right here. Whatever concerns the CFTC it initially may have had regarding the likelihood of defendants dissipating their asset appeared to have been substantially reduced, the judge wrote in the 28-page opinion. Okay, so this looks good for My Forex Funds, to be honest. So it means there was a lot of concerns from the CFTC, a lot of issues they wanted to address, and it looks like a lot of these concerns appear to have been substantially reduced. And I think now, in my personal opinion, this again relates to the sales of challenges and stuff like that, because there was a lot of transparency going on there with you know, giving out the passing numbers, etc. So, and the CFTC on the other hand, you know, said that My Forex Fund was soliciting clients into purchasing these products, and the clients didn't know what they would get, and I think that is not completely true. We know what you kind of get if you purchase this kind of product from My Forex Funds. However, what we didn't know is how My Forex Funds handles your account once you are in the live stage. Okay, let's keep going. Likewise, given that the frozen assets may be set aside and that defendants are represented by experienced counsel, the court trusts that no receiver is necessary to effectuate the court's order. Okay, so basically they are trusting My Forex Funds and the CEO, so there's no other party, third party needed to handle this kind of unfreezing of the funds, I guess. This is what this means, but like I said, this is all kind of legal jargon, so I'm no expert. Maybe I'm saying something completely wrong here. Right, let's keep going. In late August, the CFTC filed a complaint against My Forex Funds, its CEO, and associated entities alleging fraudulent activities. This complaint accused the defendants of deceptive practices related to leveraged retail foreign exchange and leveraged retail commodity transactions. Okay, so this was basically one of the concerns of CFTC, and like I said, I'm not so sure if the clients got deceptive, because we know what we were buying. We wanted to trade on leverage. We know what we were getting into, I guess. So now let's keep going. Ian McGinley, the director of enforcement at CFTC, said that the CFTC's case against My Forex Funds defendants is emblematic of our commitment to stamping out retail fraud in our markets. Anyone offering or entering into leveraged retail forex contracts without registration or offering or entertaining the leveraged retail commodity contracts of exchange, so these are OTC contracts of exchange, is acting in clear violation of the law. So basically, this is an important statement, and this is also, I think, a part that is not solved yet. This is why I'm thinking this court case will go on. This is not the end of the tunnel right here, but it's a major step for My Forex Funds, I think. So basically, it's still unclear because in the US, right, it's not allowed to trade CFDs. Also, these kind of OTC products are limited, and normally you need to go through a regulated exchange if you want to trade something with leverage, and kind of My Forex Funds or prop trading is kind of bypassing that because it's working on a demo, right? So this is still a very hot topic to be discussed, and I'm curious what will happen on that throughout this case, and I don't think this is solved yet. Okay, My Forex Funds challenge to CFTC. So, however, My Forex Fund recently contended that the CFTC recklessly mischaracterized transfers involving the significant tax payments. Kazmi and his legal team challenged the fundamental aspect of the lawsuit, pitting it with the commodities watchdog. They raised questions about the alleged fraudulent activities. Okay, so basically, I've read through this article already, so I can tell you basically there was a big payment which looked to be that the owner of My Forex Fund, CEO, just paid out to himself, but now they're saying, okay, we wanted to pay taxes in Canada and this is why we made these big transfers, and the CFTC is mischaracterizing this. So this is one point. Then the other thing is about the fraudulent activities. Not quite clear what they mean by that, but it could go back again to the kind of stuff with the software that was going against traders. Let's keep going. Additionally, the firm raised questions over the jurisdiction of the CFTC over its transactions. Yeah, that is, I think, fair because the CFTC is the American authority, right? And basically they're in Canada. According to a recent report by Finance Magnates, its defense team dismissed CFTC's accusation. It asserted that My Forex Funds never solicited or accepted customer investments. That is true, basically. Okay, My Forex Funds never was accepting any customer investments in form of deposits. That is true. Maybe that was mischaracterized, I'm not sure. But basically the CFTC is also attacking the business model, right? The prop trading business model. And here My Forex Fund is kind of trying to defend that by, you know, kind of being transparent about it and try to solve it out, right? So this is still unsolved in my opinion, and will be very interesting to see what will happen, if there will be some new rules coming then by the CFTC, if this business model can, you know, sustain in the US or not. So these are all unsolved questions, and this court case will show us the way, right? But it seems to me, like from what I'm reading here, that My Forex Funds actually has very good lawyers in place, and they know how to defend that and trying to show to the court, okay, this business model is different because we don't accept any deposits, right? And we're working with the demo accounts, etc. And we didn't make any false promises to the customers, stuff like that. So now the CFTC's complaint exposed a series of deceptive practices, including terminating customer accounts under false pretexts. So this is a huge one here. Misleading commission assessments and using specialized software to execute customer orders at unfavorable prices. So very curious what will happen here. Again, guys, so these are the big allegations in my opinion. So basically some kind of live accounts were unfairly terminated, okay, under false pretexts, maybe some kind of trading system they didn't like or something they did, where My Forex Fund was like, okay, we will shut them down somehow, even if it was not fair. Then misleading commission assessments, this goes back to, okay, why commissions on a demo account if it's only demo or not live, why you guys take commissions even for that. And then using specialized software to execute customer orders at unfavorable prices. So this is the worst one, the most shadiest one, right? And it seems to be true, I guess, because from what I have seen from other traders commenting on My Forex Funds, commenting on their services, I feel that is true, that there was a lot of unfair slippage, stuff like that. And it looks that they have a software in place and this will bite them, right? I'm sure because of that they will have to pay some fee or something in the end, because that will bite them. So now the complaint asserts that such practices actively worked against customers, reducing profits and increasing losses, all while My Forex Funds claim to prioritize customers' success. Yeah, that is true. If that shady stuff happened on the live account, that is 100% true. Because basically they're working against the client, and while at the same time promising, okay, your success is our success, and while at the same time having this specialized software in place to, you know, have unfavorable executions and everything. So now the legal actions extend beyond US borders. The Ontario Security Commission has issued a temporary cease trade order against Traders Global Group and Casmi. So we know that also already. Now we're almost through with the article, guys. Making it through to all the jargon. Let's have a look here. My Forex Funds defense maintains that CFTC misrepresented 2 substantial pre-authorized payments. Okay, so now this is again My Forex Funds defending themselves. I talked about this before. There were 2 big payments, and basically CFTC said, okay, the CEO of My Forex Funds was just, you know, kind of taking advantage of the customers' money or kind of the profits they made for personal gains of all of these amounts as transferred to My Forex Funds CEO. However, contrary to this, the defense contests that these funds were directed to Canadian tax authorities. So like I said, My Forex Funds is putting it in a way, I don't know if it's true or not, that they were doing these transfers to pay taxes and be in compliance with the law. The court has upheld this and pointed to the CFT's miscalculations. So it looks like also this kind of case here that they defended looks as the court has accepted this, and that the CFTC did a miscalculation here, or didn't do a proper investigation, or basically couldn't prove it enough. Now the motion further questioned the unprecedented nature of the statutory restraining order, arguing that shutting down a business and freezing personal assets is an extreme measure. Again, this is also My Forex Funds defending himself, saying, okay, this is a very harsh kind of punishment to just freeze all assets. It's also not good for the clients at all, of course, and this has been an extreme measure, which they say was too over the top, right, by the CFTC as a defense. Alright guys, and with that being said, we are now at the end of the article. Let's jump back to the overview, and then I will give you my personal thoughts on this, and then we can also talk about how this will evolve in the future. Okay guys, and here we are back now. So that was a lot to read through, but now I will give you my points on this topic. Okay guys, so what do I think about all of this? As mentioned before, I'm no expert on the issue, but I will try my best to make my own interpretation out of the information provided. So basically, I think this is a major win for My Forex Funds actually, because this whole amount that was in question, the 300 million, or basically we should say 150 million, whatever net profit they had in the end, all of that was first in question and frozen, right? And now we can see that actually the court saw, okay, probably the sale of the challenges was pretty legitimate. There was terms and condition in place, right? The clients knew what they were getting into, and all of that was like a legitimate business, right? A legitimate business basically. And now they reduced this whole figure down to only this 8% figure, which comes down to, I think it was like 12 million, right? So this is still in question, and I think out of that there will be a fee, right, coming. The fee of course will depend on how the court will see how manipulated everything was with My Forex Funds, and if this was really a planned act, right, and thought out well. and very malicious on the side of My Forex Funds. And I think, yes, they did some very bad things there and that will get punished. So that will be very interesting. We will see. This is the more bigger question I'm very curious about. What about the business model as a whole? Because there is no solution there yet, in my opinion. So is that model, prop trading, still accepted in the US? Can it be changed with some kind of regulation that it can continue there or not? So that will also be solved in due time. Overall, I'm thinking this case will take longer. Of course, everything with courts always takes long, so I don't think this is the end of the tunnel. It's just the beginning, but it's starting off very good for My Forex Funds. That is basically my impression of all of that. Now, very interesting also what will happen in the future. I mean, many clients probably have the question, will I get my money back that I have in My Forex Funds? Can I trade there again and stuff like that? So basically here, I'm thinking there are three possibilities. So possibility one is basically best case scenario. My Forex Funds will just open up again as My Forex Funds and everything will continue normally. I think this is the most unlikely scenario of all of them, and I don't think that will happen. However, with this kind of unfreezing, it is theoretically maybe possible, but I don't think it will happen because there was a lot of reputation lost also by My Forex Funds. It's out of the bag what they did. And secondly, the business model, it's still very unclear if the business model is good for the US, right? If it can be done there or Canada. So basically, if they come back right now as My Forex Funds, they cannot provide service in US and Canada, even though they are based in Canada. So I don't think that would happen. Now the second possibility, and I think that one is more realistic. What about My Forex Funds takes this kind of unfrozen funds they have now and relocate to like the Emirates, for example, right? They could go to UAE and they could open a business there again, or they could purchase another prop company there as well and merge it with their company or their infrastructure they still have in place right now. That is basically a very interesting solution, I think, because I think it's one of the most clever ones, because they still have a huge customer base, even though they lost a lot of reputation. So what happens in that case normally is you need to do a rebranding, right? So they need to get rid of the name My Forex Funds because that one is burned to trash, right? And anyway, it sounds too similar to My Frozen Funds, to be honest, but that's just another insight, right? So I think they need to do a rebranding, right? So I think they would need to relocate to the UAE and start again there under a new name, potentially even buy up one of the competitors if that is possible and merge it with their customer base and their infrastructure, right? And then start off new. That could basically be true, and then transfer existing customers there. I think that could be a solution, and that would be maybe possible at this point in time now. Maybe they can think about this because they have their assets unfrozen. However, they still need to take into account that out of the other stuff that still is in question, those $12 million or whatever it was, there could be a fine, right? And who knows how big that will be. Maybe it will be the whole 12 million, we don't know. So basically, that's what I'm thinking about. Then the last thing, third possibility, and that one is also highly plausible, is My Forex Funds just uses this opportunity right now. The CEO uses the opportunity right now to shut the business, do refunds to clients waiting or that were in a challenge, do the payouts that were still a problem. So they could do that. That would also be a good signal maybe to the CFTC. Okay, they want to try to get everything in order as fast as possible, shut everything down. They accepted their mistake. That would be kind of sad because it would also show, okay, we were giving up on the prop module, right? Prop trading module. That would be kind of sad, but it is definitely something they could do. In my opinion, shut down the business, try to get out of it as nicely as possible, also with the clients. And the CEO, has a good retirement fund in that case, I would say, and could focus on a new venture that is maybe even outside of the whole trading industry. Why not? So that could also happen in my opinion. So solution 1 is unlikely. Solution 2, yes. Solution 3, I think very likely, right? So that's, I think, what is happening right here. But all of this will anyway take some time. It will not happen from today to tomorrow, right? Give it some time, 2 or 3 years, we will see how it will be done. Okay, guys, with that being said, that is all of my personal insights on this kind of matter. I will cover this also in future videos because I'm very curious how this case will evolve. It will have also, of course, a bigger impact on the whole prop trading industry. Good thing is the first impression is good. So the CFTC could not bite as hard as they wanted to, and My Forex Funds is kind of saved for the moment. However, there is still a lot of unclarity about the business module itself, about the modern prop trading module, and that is kind of sad because of course we like to have some kind of security. How will it be in the US in the future? And unfortunately we cannot 100% answer this right now. But good thing is, like I said, it's not as bad as we all thought, and that is amazing. And I see you guys in the next one. Peace.